This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., and Brotherhood Credit Union.
Good morning and thanks for tuning in to LCTV. We had a full week of ceremonies and organizations looking towards the future. A double lowdown will feature Creative Collective and the 1860 Shoemakers Strike events happening over the next few weeks. Here's the news for Friday, February 9th, 2024. According to the Drug Enforcement Agency, 25-year-old Eric Solis Lopez of Lynn was sentenced to 62 months in prison, 3 years of suspended release, and ordered to give up just over $18,000 in cash, jewelry, and 2 vehicles. Due to his role in a drug trafficking organization which distributed more than 7,300 fake prescription pills containing illicit substances. He is one of 23 individuals charged in October of 2022, with an additional 2 alleged co-conspirators charged in December of 2022. Solis Lopez pled guilty to conspiracy to distribute and possess with intent to distribute illicit substances. He made deliveries of fake oxycodone pills, fentanyl pills, crack cocaine, and marijuana for the ring, with some of these substances being discovered in his vehicle along with a fake driver's license. He's the 3rd defendant to be sentenced in the case. The Lynn Family Resource Center, in collaboration with the Bridgewell Family Support Center, hosted their 2nd annual Winter Warmth and Valentine's Day event. Families got the opportunity to select coats for themselves and their children, as well as grab winter gift bags.
Hello, we're the Lynn Family Resource Center, and my name's Olivia Grinstead. We had our Winter Warmth and Valentine's Day event. We provided coats and winter gear for over 120 families, or under 120 people today. This is our 2nd annual Winter Warmth event. We had one last year, and then we hopefully will plan on having another one because this one was such a success. We plan on having another one at the end of the month. Yeah, it was kind of like a free-for-all. They came in, they let us know how many people were in their party or in their family. They all got adult kits with gloves, hats, and socks. They got kid kits with the same exact stuff. And then they all got to pick out their own coats. They get to try it on, pick out what kind of fits their person. Winter gear is very expensive, honestly, and because of our weird winters in New England, I think having a variety of different coats and winter gear is accessible to families for free is very important because you never know when you're going to need it and you never know when the winter is going to change. Pretty much had all of our gear donated from the community, and then the kits were ordered from Amazon, and we were our amazing team behind me put them together. If you do want to donate any coats, we also have a community closet where we're giving out winter clothing as well. So if you want to donate winter clothing, winter coats, diapers, gloves, hats, our location is 16 City Hall Square. It's on the 1st floor in Lynn, Mass.
A groundbreaking ceremony was held at the Lynn Commuter Rail Interim Station early on the 6th. 2 months after its official opening and 9 months ahead of schedule, members of the Lynn delegation, the MBTA leadership team, and Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll held a press conference and ride-along from Lynn to North Station. Here's a clip with footage from the train provided by NBC 10 Boston.
To be here with this station reopened and how exciting it is, and you know, the T faces many challenges, and I think we hear that every day. But a part of those challenges is the unlimited opportunity that these kind of investments make. And to get this done, and the general manager was here last June when he was first on the job and said, we need to open the station earlier. He understood how important this station was to our community, but more importantly to show the investment and the opportunity that we have to create a 21st century MBTA. And that's what this is all about. You're here in the middle of Lynn with 100,000 plus people, the opportunity to have transit-oriented development and have the T, the key component of making that a reality for so many reasons. So I want to thank the general manager, the administration, the secretary, and the delegation and the mayor. There's some full line of elected officials here in the community who all came together, understood the importance of this station, made the case to make it happen quickly, and the administration and the general manager made sure that that happened 9 months early. This is the first of many steps moving forward to get the T where it needs to be, and I'm excited to be on the board. I'm excited to be a part of that, and I'm excited to talk about the real opportunity and what's the return on the investment of our dollars, and that return is really unlimited. So great to have you all here today. Great to be here in my community, seeing this continuing exciting opportunities grow in Lynn and beyond.
For the full press conference, go to lyntv.org. Members of Lynn Classical High participated in a beautiful project based on an ancient tradition of folding 1,000 origami cranes. The legend originated in Japan when a young survivor of the Hiroshima atomic bomb folded 1,000 cranes with the hope it would help them recover from radiation-induced leukemia. Ever since, it became a global symbol of peace and resilience, based on the belief that folding the cranes will grant the folder a wish, often related to peace, happiness, or health. This project was put together by students, staff, and faculty to represent hope in the face of adversity following several tragic events in the city. Last September, Lynn limited access to areas of Magnolia Park when testing revealed the presence of arsenic in the top foot of soil. This prompted a notification to the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, as well as several follow-up assessments and tests. The result of said tests indicate the conditions do not pose any imminent danger or harm for residents. Due to these results, the closed section of the park will be reopened with fences coming down by the end of this week. In celebration of Black History Month, a Black Excellence display was unveiled in the foyer of City Hall on the night of the 6th. The recipients were given citations from both the city and the state in recognition of all they have done for the city and to make people of color more visible to the community as a whole.
I want to welcome you tonight to our local Black Excellence Honoree Award Night. This is our opening night. We do this every year since about 2019. It's become something that we really enjoy, showing what people of color are doing in our community, because it's not something that's normally seen. When you walk through these halls, you see a lot of stories, but they're not the stories that we know. They're not the people that we know that are doing great things in our city.
Celebrating Black excellence and highlighting and acknowledging the talents and the achievements of the Black community illustrates powerfully what America's been telling us all along, right? That regardless of your skin color, your ethnicity, your background, your success can be yours.
There is Black excellence in Lynn, and it is so important for us to have these opportunities to recognize that, to celebrate it, to tell those stories for a lot of reasons. We want to know our history and be able to build on that. We want to know the role models among us so we can look to those folks, and those folks have been recognized and will be recognized. And it also helps us imagine possibilities for the future. Seeing the representation on this wall as we walk through these doors every day is a great visual reminder to all of us that we need to mark these leaders in our community who are examples for the next generation.
It's time for true diversity in all aspects of American culture. We are Black history.
The Healy-Driscoll administration announced $5 million in grants to support fire departments in more than 300 municipalities across the state through the Firefighter Safety Equipment Grant Program. This includes Lynn, who will be receiving $22,106. The money will go towards reimbursing recipients for the purchase of 135 kinds of equipment, with the goal being for stations to obtain compliance with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration or the National Fire Protective Safety Standards. A wide range of equipment can be purchased, including hoses, coats, and helmets, as well as technological devices, such as thermal imaging cameras and portable handheld radios. According to the Secretary of Public Safety and Security, in its second year, many stations are using the grant to purchase ballistic vests and helmets for use in active shooter situations. As stated by Governor Healy, quote, "They deserve our thanks and our support. The Firefighter Safety Equipment Grant Program is just one way we can express our appreciation for that selfless dedication," end quote. The Massachusetts Municipal Association recognized the Phoenix Food Hub for all they do to assist individuals and families with nutritional needs. In light of this and all the work done by members of the Food Policy Council, a ceremony was held at the Food Hub to acknowledge their assistance to the citizens of Lynn.
On Wednesday, February 7th, the City of Lynn hosted a ceremony in recognition of the Phoenix Food Hub being awarded the Kenneth E. Pickard Municipal Innovation Award by the Massachusetts Municipal Association. Located over on Silsby Street, the Phoenix Food Hub is a collaborative project spearheaded by Greater Lynn Senior Services as part of the Lynn Food Policy Council that helps people of all ages who have nutritional needs, including individuals or families. Attended by Lynn's Public Health Coordinator Norris Guscott, as well as Mayor Jared Nicholson, the ceremony also recognized several organizations that have contributed to the Food Policy Council, including the New Lynn Coalition, Democus Family YMCA, Lynn Salvation Army, the Food Project, and Lynn Community Health Center.
We're really proud that the city was honored, but really it's everybody that's doing this work that makes it happen, and so we wanted to share that with all of you.
For LCTV News, I'm Josh Englander.
Lynn Public Schools, in collaboration with national nonprofit Bellwether, is constructing a comprehensive strategic planning process to shape the future of education in the city. The purpose is to understand our current situation, collective future, as well as aspirations and values, to identify the work which needs to be done to ensure all LPS students have equal access to resources and opportunities. At the conclusion of this process, the city will have a plan reflecting the values and priorities of students, families, and faculty in order to guide efforts and the allocation of resources for the next 5 years. Bellwether focuses on academic design, program evaluation, and policy analysis to change education outcomes for systematically marginalized people. The district invites any and all stakeholders to join them and be on the lookout for opportunities to voice your opinions. Creative Collective came back on the Lowdown to give a rundown of their past year and plans for the future. Here is the Lowdown. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. And we are welcoming back on Tia Cole from Creative Collective. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it. It's my favorite purple room.
Yeah, like that. So it's been a while since you've been on here. There's been a lot of programming happening this past year. So where do you want to start with that?
So we've had a couple really exciting projects that we've partnered with in Lynn, thanks to some really great organizations. We started, maybe I can start with Final Fridays because those are coming back and I'm really excited. So I know you guys have covered Final Fridays before and they're over at Lynn Museum, often outside at Frederick Douglass Park, which is an amazing space because it's just beautiful with the backdrop and the green spaces. But we partnered with Lynn Museum. They produce these amazing Final Friday events, and we just did like that media outreach and made sure that there was coverage and photos and videos, and we worked with a lot of local videographers, like you can see Ferns over there, who is, if you ever need video work done outside of LCTV, definitely reach out to him. And local creators and makers and musicians and performers to kind of activate that space, create a nice environment. There was multiple different like themes for them, and we had a really good time and are looking forward to doing that again this year too.
So when will they start back up again, like after the winter?
It will, yeah. So usually I believe that that the Lynn Museum starts them around May. I know they already have their list of what the themes are going to be. Janaya Spencer is actually the program manager for it, the project manager. So I love her like young, vibrant like energy that she puts into everything that she does.
Yeah,
so
she's great.
Having her be in charge of like setting up the programming for it is really great, and we're looking forward to seeing what graphics she comes up with this year and really getting that out to the whole areas. Last time we even had like the Mass Tourism Office came and visited one of the vendor market nights where there was like a beer tasting and stuff like that. So looking forward to that again.
You're reaching out again. And the other thing that you did, I think the second year it's done it, is Lynn Side Out. That was last summer.
Yeah, Lynn Side Out is, what's cool about it is Mayor Nicholson's office, you know, they really wanted to, when the administration came together after being elected, they said like, we want to make City Hall more accessible because we know that people don't necessarily feel like they can come and approach us, like we're unapproachable. And we know that part of that is being in this gorgeous, big institutional building. So by kind of literally taking it to the streets, the administration has been able to like connect with the residents a lot better. And they ask us to kind of help produce the events. So we utilize a lot of the local talent that we know, all the performers. We reach out to the local businesses to be able to support them. And they all generally are really excited to be able to hop on the stage or sell out continuously with their food because the food always sells out. So it's been really successful. And I think that the thing that impresses me the most is if you're like in the city and you go to city events, you always see the same people all the time, depending on like the type. The Lynn Side Out events were just like so many different like pockets of community came out to come and see what was going on. So it was like giving away free food, there was dancing, there was free produce, there was fans, sunscreen, like all these different resources that the city has that everybody doesn't necessarily know that they have, all being able to be there. And also like, you get to talk to the DPW there in person. Like I remember someone being like, where's my new barrel? I need to get a replacement. Like, by all means, go and talk to them. Like that's what they're there for, have those conversations. And it was just a great experience. It's always a lot of fun. And I think it's like a yearly thing. So we'll see, they'll probably do it again this year. And we hope to be able to be there to help make those connections for the city.
Oh yeah, it's a big event. Like you said, for some reason people are more approachable when they're outside their office, just kind of hanging out, having fun. You think of them more as just regular people.
It's true. Like if you're sitting there and you're like in line for an egg roll, like watching, you know, the Dominican Devils came, and they were doing like the whip and everything, and it was organized chaos of the best nature. But like you can have any kind of conversation in that environment, and people are just so much more approachable when they're not behind a desk or behind a wall, which you tend to be like on opposite sides of things. So when we think about just like physical accessibility to somebody, like that's huge. But I could go on about accessibility forever.
That is one of your main 3 points for the Creative Collective is equity, inclusion, and accessibility. So there you go.
Yeah, so as a collective, we do a lot of events and stuff like that, and we do a lot of marketing. I always try and call it storytelling. I prefer storytelling over marketing because we found that a lot of creators and makers and creatively aligned businesses needed a little extra support. And I think one of my favorite examples is we have 300 businesses in our membership. Oh. One of them is Vamp Fangs. I told you we were going down to this vampire road earlier. So when a company comes in and says, hey, you know, we're going to open a brick and mortar store on Main Street that sells custom vampire fangs, they don't necessarily know exactly where they're going to fit in for business support.
There.
So we tend to have these members that don't necessarily fit. They're like, into these little boxes. They're mural artists, they're theaters, they're arts organizations like Gala, they're vampings, they're restaurants, like a lot of the ones that we worked with our outdoor dining. So they don't necessarily fit into the box, but they still need support, and they still need access, and they still need connections, and they still need opportunity. So we as an organization find things like Inside Out or the Final Fridays as ways to provide opportunity, to tell the story of the people that are doing the work, and just provide the access that you need to really grow and be part of a community.
Speaking a little bit of a niche thing, one thing you tried this past year was a taste of Lynn, and you incorporated a lot of cultural elements into that. I'll let you explain that because you.
Sure. So we were very grateful to work with Lucretia from our arts and culture planner in the city of Lynn, asked to help create a new website for the Downtown Lynn Cultural District, and then promote it, do that storytelling piece. We were asked to gamify it, which was really fun. So this is where my bad pronunciation and my lack of being able to say R's comes in. So I'm going to work really hard on this, okay? So to gamify it, we created what traditionally may be thought in some cultures a bingo card, but we called it a loteria card. A loteria is a game that's played in Mexico. It's actually originated from France. It was brought over. And it's also in South America, really popular. It's really different from the lottery that we think of when we think of like scratch tickets or something like that, right? So it's like bingo. And so when you went to a different restaurant, you would get like a stamp on your loteria card. And when you filled it, you went to the Final Fridays event, and we pulled names out and you got gift cards from restaurants from around the city, mostly Union Street, because there's a lot of work being done with the restaurants on Union Street lately. So we wanted to kind of uplift and hold them. I think it's really important that as we go through and promote our community, that we're making sure that we support those legacy businesses, those little mom and pop businesses that have been here. By the end of it, like we heard Drew Russo had said, oh, well, I've never been to Antojitos on Union Street, right across from here. And I went, and it was delicious, and I'm so glad I went there, and we'll go back again. So being able to say, hey, there's this awesome little business that we should all be supporting, like how do we do that in the best possible way? So, but yeah, that was all thanks to the city, thanks to Lucretia and the Downtown Lynn Cultural District. I'm really grateful to have been a part of that project.
So you did a lot of really cool projects this past year, and entering into the new year, what did you say like the goals are for the collective coming into this new year?
Always on growth. We always want to support as many people as we can. We have some really great organizations in Lynn that are part of our membership. I just sat down with galleries at Lynn Arts, and they have some awesome stuff coming up. So if anyone's ever interested in how to be better supported as a creator or a creatively aligned business, definitely reach out to us, and we can help make those connections and help support you through grant opportunities and other things. And we have some work that's coming down the pipe with some other cities on trying to do that placekeeping of downtowns and how to engage the community and the businesses to work together and foster this like place of belonging.
And one last question before I wrap it up. You have 2 different Instagram handles on here, and you explained to me the difference between them, but do you want to clarify something?
Sure. So we are the Creative Collective, right? So we support businesses and creators. And we do that kind of like business to business communication, like, here's a way to do your marketing properly, or if you want to do your own marketing, or here's someone like Ferns that you can hire to do some videography, which is great and super helpful for businesses. Right now, our current marketing campaign is we have an end of year report that we just did, so all of that's being pushed out. You can find that all at Creative Collective MA on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the things, even Twitter, but we don't use it. But but the Creative North Shore is kind of like what we put out there for the people who just like to see the art. So that has all the information of like art classes that you can go to. It has like shows that are coming up. It has auditions that you can check out. It also mostly has like, one of our big things is we really, really believe that to do your job well, our job well, we have to show up. Like you gotta show face to wherever you're going. Like see him here showing face. But so we do a lot of like live coverage of events. It could be like music in the coffee shop to like markets that have a whole bunch of vendors, like that kind of thing. So you'll find all that really fun, engaging stuff on Creative North Shore, and I like the businessy stuff on Creative Collective MA.
Oh. that makes a lot of sense. And you said one day you were coming on here, showing face, telling people about it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me.
Great. Of course, anytime. And I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. On deck, the sports update. In a no-doubter, the Lynn Tech girls took down Notre Dame Hingham 57-25. They are headed to the MIAA Division IV state tournament, thanks to a dominant 55-29 victory against Pioneer Charter for their 10th win of the season. A combination of strong defense and shooting led the boys to a similar result, topping Shawsheen Tech 61-44. They limited Shawsheen to 2 points in the first 6 minutes of the fourth due to a successful press. In an inter-city rivalry, the Tech boys were once again the winners, taking down Kip 68-56. At 12-2, the Tigers were led by Edric Gonzalez, who netted 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. The Panthers were not without highlights, as 3 of their players still scored in the double digits. The Lynn Classical girls squeaked out a win 32-29 over Triton, led by senior Lauren Wilson with 13. As a team, the Rams limited Triton to 15 points through 3 quarters, assisted by Divine Egbut, securing 15 rebounds. Classical hosted and beat Chelsea 46-18 in the definition of a team win, with 10 players in the scoring column. On the other side, the boys secured their spot in the Division III tournament, outlasting Chelsea 53-48. Martin Avery Jr. was again the leading scorer with 24. St. Mary's dominated rival Archbishop Williams 69-40. They're charging towards the postseason with their 15th win of the year on senior night. They faltered against first-ranked Bishop Fian, losing 61-50. The Spartans are currently the 4th seed in Division III with a 15-5 record. Their boys team also ran into trouble when they traveled to Archbishop, losing a tight 65-58 game. Coming off a 1-19 season last year, the Kip girls were out for redemption, and that's exactly what they're getting. They secured their 10th win of the season, and with it, a trip to the MIAA Division IV tournament. In a 48-36 final, Laz Clark and Katrina Fortes combined for 28 rebounds. They hosted Lowell Collegiate and won again, cruising to a 31-14 win. With only a few weeks left in the regular season, the English boys are making every game count, registering their 13th win of the year when they traveled to Revere and came up victorious 77-45. Their 32-point victory was supported by double-digit performances from 4 Bulldogs, 2 of which went the extra mile with double-doubles in the contest. The Bulldogs captured the Greater Boston League crown, blowing out Malden by 29 points, 73-44 in the 8th. Their girls team struggled, falling 59-50 to Malden despite several strong performances. In boys hockey, the Spartans fell short, shut out by division rival St. John's Prep 6-0. Their girls team participated in a Division I showdown against Peabody Linfield North Reading. The second-ranked Spartans came out on top 3-1 over fourth-ranked PLNR in a game which saw the teams combine for 11 penalties. 3 different Spartans scored while also limiting a strong PLNR team to just 1 goal. In a 5-0 shutout of Stoneham, freshman Bella Freitas passed the 30-goal mark, securing a hat trick in the victory. Their swim and dive team had a strong showing at the Catholic Central League Championship. The boys placed 5th, led by the relay team. The girls came in 2nd, with 4 athletes qualifying for states in both the 50 free and 100 back. The Spartans had an equally strong showing at the track and field championship. The girls took 6th, and the boys came in 2nd. It was a light week for the Celtics, but that did not stop their momentum. They hosted the Memphis Grizzlies, posting a 40-point victory, 131-91. As a team, the C's combined for 17 offensive rebounds, 30 assists, and a 41-point second. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown led the way with 34 and 26 points, respectively. The Atlanta Hawks have been a thorn in the Celtics' side, but this time Boston proved victorious, 125-117. A pleasant surprise since the beginning, Kristaps Porzingis was on fire, draining 31 points in 31 minutes of play. The Bruins had a breather this week, except for All-Stars David Pastrnak and Jeremy Swayman. Pastrnak was selected to represent Boston by the league, while Swayman was one of 12 voted in by the fans. The players were divided into 4 teams, with Pastrnak landing on Team McDavid and Swayman in goal for Team McKinnon. Pastrnak also participated in the skills competition, placing 9th overall. The Bruins began the second half of the season with a 4-1 loss to the Calgary Flames. The 1860 Shoemakers Strike was an incredibly impactful event, originating in Lynn and spreading to surrounding communities. Community leaders from 2 organizations came on to discuss how they are keeping the legacy of these shoemakers alive. Hello and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on 2 women to talk about the Shoemakers Strike events their organizations will be collaborating on. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you for having us.
Would you mind just introducing yourselves and the organizations you're involved with?
Sure. My name is Lisa Connolly. I'm the Executive Director of the Lynn Home for Women down on Broad Street, providing affordable housing for women and now men for 112 years. Being a bit of a history buff myself, Michelle approached me to do this commemorative strike, and it goes into a lot of the issues that I think are important at the Lynn Home, social justice and women's rights and pay equity. So we collaborated quickly before COVID and then had to shelve it until now.
Yes,
So.
now it's a true dream come true. My name is Michelle Guzman, and I do a little bit of everything, but I'm a community organizer in day, and one of my passion is I found the Lynn Walking Shoe Tours, and that is the aspect that I bring for the history, and we are collaborating on that.
So you have, it's 5 different events that you're going to be running, and it's going to start with some talks that we see we're going to talk about.
So the basic theme of this event, aside from the strike, is all about resiliency of the human spirit. And that kicked off a gallery opening last week with the Black History Month involved as well, celebrating resiliency of the human spirit. And then from that, we're going to have 2 informational talks at the Lynn Home for Women, Washington Square Residence, 144 Broad Street. One will be on the 15th, and the other will be on the 22nd. The 15th, we'll be talking about the history of the Lynn Home and the women who founded it. And on the 22nd, Michelle will be talking about the strike.
The strike. And then I guess the cherry on the cake is about an enactment. First of all, we're going to start with a walk, symbolic walk, coming out from the residence that is on Broad Street. And we're going to walk with pans and what is it? Pots and pans?
Pots and pans.
Pots and pans.
Make a lot of noise.
And because we're celebrating resiliency, but also advocacy, equal pay. That's kind of like a little bit of the heart of that. That starts at 6. Hopefully it's not going to be so cold, like in 1860. And then we're going to walk and go to Gala. That's where going to be the enactment. And I have to mention History Alive from Salem, Massachusetts is the one that are going to be performing that.
That sounds like it will be interesting. And can you give a little bit of history about the strike? It happened in the 1860s, so would you be able to give a little history about it?
Want to start? Okay. So the strike was looking for equal pay and better recognition of women, because what was happening is that in some cases men will work 16 hours a day and they will get paid $3 a week, and then women will get paid $1. And so it was very big disparity on that. And with the support of the men, women came together and talk about different perspectives, and they came together and walk, and that what is called the Great Ladies Procession.
And I think it's important too to note that that was really the first labor strike known in society. They weren't, the society was moving from these little shoe self-contained at people's homes, the 10-footer that we hear about in Lynn, and moving into sort of the industrialized world of factories and, working for someone. And there were some problems with that we know of today as well. But the important thing I think about Lynn back at that time was a very progressive place and really sought to address a lot of issues. The abolitionists were here, women's issues, the strike. So it's a big part of history. And from our little one in Lynn, it grew to 25 communities across the state.
20,000 people, and then even at the time, Abraham Lincoln was interviewed the next day in Connecticut. He was running for president, and he mentioned that he believed in the right to strike. So yeah, we were definitely very famous.
Oh, yeah, Lynn has such a huge history with that. And what do you hope people learn, like visitors take away from it? What do you really hope that they learn from this?
Well, I think that, for Michelle and I both, that the history of Lynn and the city of Lynn is a place that maybe has one infamous, idea, but there's so much more here. And so, to that end, we like to keep the history alive and show that every group has come into its own through a fight.
Resiliency. Yeah, so
the resiliency
of the standing. And also about the conversations, how these women, we have different people of women where married women, they didn't want to be a troublemaker because they could be isolated, or single women, right? That women that were at the Lynn Home for women, they will be single, and then first generation, or they just come in. So all these different things were logistics and dynamics, and they still came together, and then we still see it. We're still fighting for equal pay for women. So that's also embrace our history, embrace our culture, and also the advocacy of social justice.
And you've talked a little bit about the Lynn Home for Women. It was founded over 100 years ago. What was its original purpose for being founded?
Its original purpose was for safe and appropriate, that's what they used to call it, housing for women who were coming into the city to work in the factories. You had a big influx in the late 80s and the early 1900s to come, there was a lot of factory work, and women didn't have too many options. So coming into the city, working at a factory, at one time, boarding houses like ours were owned by the factory. So interesting setup, but it was safe. It was appropriate. There were rules. The women were not, on their own, so to speak, as was not accepted back in the day.
My ladies will go to church. the proper, it's funny how they used to say the proper way of doing it. And so also I think that up to now, the Lynn Home for Women provides that to the community. So I really think this resiliency of the strike, along with what Lisa represents in that organization, just come together.
And you mentioned, you briefly talked about it before COVID, that things shut down, things really stopped. What made you both come back to this and say, we're going to do it, we got to get it done?
Well, mostly I think for me was like we have to make it bigger and better, and I think that is where the beauty of this collaboration comes with Lisa, but also being able to reach out to History Alive, where it's a very beautiful organization in Salem, and they already do shows and stuff, and then they coming. So this is our second show doing that.
Oh, so this has been done before?
Yes.
That piece?
Yes.
That
the
piece of
enactment.
it. And I think, for me, one, to highlight the history of the Lynn home, because I think it's fascinating and a wonderful place. But also, to create more unity. Peace starts at home, and we could use a lot more unity in the world today and talk about how, we all might have come from a different place, but we want a central theme.
And immigrants, different fluctuation. Back in the day, 1860, we were like from the old country, from Europe, mostly from Ireland, and then this other part of the old world. And now we see a different one. But it's about that spirit of resiliency that is also bringing us together, and celebrate that together.
Well, bringing people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different everything to this central point.
It was a great moment in history in Lynn, so let's embrace it and let's come together for that.
And I'll ask you a little bit about the walking tours that you do, the shoe ones. When did you start those, and how did you grow it into this?
I grow it precisely from my desire to share the history of Lynn, and I'm very lucky because in downtown, this beautiful mural that was done in 2014, the stories of Lynn, we have everything there. And so that's kind of like where we start now, is the Frederick Douglass Memorial Park, which is beautiful. And then from there, I have a lot of things coming together. So yes, I designed, created, and created the narrative for that. And it's mostly focusing on the heritage and the social justice. So even though we're known as the shoe capital of the world, which I'm going to debate. Italians and French from the old world, they're going to probably say, what? It's definitely probably the new world. But yes, and then so we go through the season. So now that our next season will be in spring.
Great. And I'll be wrapping it up in a moment, but is there anything that I didn't ask about or anything else you wanted to mention about the events or what's happening?
The events are free. The two talks at the Washington Square residence are both free, open to the public. The event at the gala, I believe, is $15 for tickets. Very worthwhile and affordable pricing.
Definitely affordable. And you can get tickets on Eventbrite, or you can go and look for me on the Facebook page from Lynn Walking Shoe Tours. 15 for seniors and 18 regular price. But again, it's affordable, and then it's just a little small contribution for this event logistics and getting all things together.
Well, it all sounds fantastic, and it's awesome that you're putting this on along with so many other people. And thanks for coming on again to give us some more background about it.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, anytime. And once again, my name's Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Now the community calendar. Second Saturdays are back at the Lynn Museum with another installation tomorrow the 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Come for a Lunar New Year celebration to welcome the Year of the Dragon. Residents can participate in free activities, from dragon puppet making to Chinese lantern craft to storytelling. Visit the Lynn Museum Lynn Arts website for more information. Next Friday the 16th, the monthly Brown Bag Project will again be taking place in conjunction with the Greater Boston Food Bank. On the third Friday of each month, free bags of food are distributed from 9 to 11 a.m. at 8 Silsby Street. Please wear a mask. To qualify, individuals must be at least 60 years of age, eligible for an assistance program, and be pre-qualified through an application process. Contact Greater Lynn Senior Services for an application to this program. Diverse People United is holding a multi-day anti-racist education program from February 17th through the 19th. Every day, the events run from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at Lynn Tech, 80 Neptune Boulevard for youth aged 14 to 24. Activities include discussing race and racism, motivating the next generation of leaders, and using art to create group and individual reflections. For those interested, the link to sign up is on lyntv.org. That's a wrap on the news for this week. To watch this and all editions of the news, as well as other staff and member content, visit lyntv.org. If upcoming events and meetings are more your interest, follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television to stay up to date on all the latest happenings. And go to Lynn Community Television on YouTube for interviews, PSAs, and other videos. I'm Danny Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., and Brotherhood Credit Union.